Hello you guys, welcome back to another video on this channel. Today, as you can see by the title, we have a story time. We have another story time for you guys. See, I had always heard this term before, especially like in a grown setting. Like I done heard stories about this in like corporate settings, married people settings, blah 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 blah. This is the time I was ever in proximity to something like this, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. So, once upon a time, I was working this job. This was years ago. Does the context matter, the job? I don't know. If it comes up, I'll bring it up. We'll see. Anyway, I'm working this job, and when I tell you this job had a turnover rate, we would get new people. They would come for like 3 weeks, and it would be like, oh, what happened to so and so? Gone. Okay. Like, and this job was also filled with a lot of people my age, right? A lot of people like in their 20s, in college, stuff like that. But yeah, one thing about these people is not everybody was cut out for this job. And it wasn't even about being fired. I think it was just people like either liking it or not. So yeah, I was there the whole time. I was on contract, but I was pretty new at this job. I'd say I was only like 2 months in, and I wasn't planning on leaving. This was my first job since doing my first ever job, customer service. Restaurant. I have one story time. Oh my God, that was like 2 years ago now that I told about why I quit that customer service job. Ooh. But anyway, yeah, so I was real happy with this job, and I was kind of like all the girls were really cool. Like I was feeling very social. It was like a different environment from my last job. And so yeah, a lot of people would come and go. I remember one day, not a shocker, I'm in like the office. There was like a downtime at this job where you could wait in the office, the tiny office that could fit like 4 people, or you could wait like outside at these tables. So I remember we're in the downtime before like the real work actually starts, and I'm in the office chatting with the girls I know. I made friends with some of the girls, had them on Instagram. And so I'm in a chair facing away from the door. So I'm yapping to the girls, and I hear someone be like, "Hi, I'm so and so, I'm here." We'll call her manager, is like, "Hey, blah, blah, blah," starts talking to him. So like I hear behind me that there's a new guy, shocker, but I'm stuck in my conversation, right? I don't turn around. I don't see what he looks like. I'm in the conversation with my girls. Also to mention, at the beginning of this story time, I was in a relationship. I'm committed zone in every single relationship, even when I shouldn't be. One thing about me, why y'all be trying to hate on Scorpios and say Scorpios are not loyal and baby, it never gave that. I'm crazy 1,000, 3,000, 4,000% down for some men who I shouldn't be. But anyway, I'm in a relationship. Keep that in mind. So I don't really see the guy. The shift starts. I think when I'm going to get all my stuff to start the real work, I do see what he looks like. We're gonna give him a name, y'all. Why? This man was giving like Corbin Blue. Get your head in the game. Like bouncy curls. So I feel like I should name him like something from High School Musical. I guess I just say Corbin. Okay, we're gonna name him Corbin. So I didn't speak to Corbin, whatever. I start my job. You know, we all have different areas of this job. And so I'm already in my job. In my workflow. Like I said, I didn't talk to him or anything like that. But I remember in the middle of my shift, my boss comes over with Corbin. She was like, "Hi, Alicia, we're actually going to have him be with you today in this section to just like see how it goes." And mind you, this is how bad the turnover rate. Because baby, I'm only 2 months in and you're putting someone with me to train. Okay, whatever. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, "Hi." He's like, "Hey." I'm like, "I'm Alicia." He's like, "I'm Corbin." And I do my job. Honestly, I feel like in the midst of the shift, there wasn't much time, even cordially, to be like, "Oh, like, you know, small talk. What was your job before?" Like, I don't really remember. I just remember working. He was mainly like shadowing me, observing me, paying attention. He was pretty social. This was a long time ago. I can't remember too much of this part because it's not that irrelevant. It's not that relevant. But anyways, I remember towards the end of the shift. This is something that in the back of my mind had me a little, right? I do remember at the end of the shift, there's like a cart I have to push back to our office. And I remember being a gentleman, he was like, oh, like, let me push it. I got it, right? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I remember now it's like downtime. There's more downtime. We're talking, oh, how old are you? What was your last job? Blah, blah. He's like asking me stuff like that. He's talking. And I remember, like, again, y'all, this is like, okay, this is a boy I'm training. I don't really care. I'm talking to you because I have to. I'm in a relationship, right? I'm in a relationship. So I'm walking, facing forward. Again, I don't play none of that. I'm facing forward, but I just remember how he's talking to me. He's like walking and looking straight at me. So he's like not looking at where he's going. So that was weird. But right. So I remember he's doing that to the point where I hear a crash. And then I finally look over and I see this man done push the cart into like an area where like stuff fell out because he was too busy looking this way. Not too much. Whatever. He's like, oh, my bad. I'm like, it's fine. I help him clean the stuff up. And then the shift ends and that's it for that day. So that's a little introduction, right? So I want to tell you that I think for like 2-ish weeks, it's like that, right? I'm in a relationship. When I have downtime, I'm mainly talking to girls. He's training with some people. Sometimes he's training with me. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, I feel like, I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments where you think this is going based off that incident when I told you, like, again, I don't really care because I'm in a relationship, but I did notice that. Like, y'all know when, like, a man you're not feeling, like, I'm walking with some purpose, walking straight. This man is walking, staring straight at me to the point where he crashes. Kind of weird. But again, I don't care. You're just here to shadow me. Whatever. Fast forward 2 weeks. I'm single. Single. It's crazy, right? You guys, for the lore, for the people who already know me, you know, this was when I was a very, very brave soul and I left my only ever abusive relationship. I was with someone abusive at the time that Corbin started working there. And literally like the 2 weeks he was working there is miserable. Like, I don't know how much you guys know. Sorry to take a dark turn, but it matters. I don't know how much you guys know about like the psychology of the mind when it comes to freeing yourself for abuse and stuff. I've been in an abusive cycle for so much, but y'all know if anyone else has ever left abuse where your abuser just does one thing that ticks you off and then you slowly start like, yeah, like it was terrible. Like, not terrible. Like I'm proud of myself for leaving, but you know, it's just very emotional when you're with an abusive person and you're stuck in the cycle. They try to get you to stay. Like I remember like the last week of the relationship was just draining of me still kind of trying to figure out how to leave, and also very sad because even though I wanted to leave, you're still attached and in love with your abuser, right? So I just remember like that last week I was down bad. I left my abuser. I'm free. And it was in a safe way. Again, to the people who know the lore, I was with my abuser at one point, like at the point I dumped him, it was long distance. So I was like, okay, I was able to do it in a safe way. It's not like I had to see him or worry about him for a little bit. I low-key think it was a little bit of a trauma response because when it was leading up to me ready to leave my abuser, low-key it was getting closer to when I could actually see him again. But I feel like my body saved myself and I did it, y'all. I was really sad and really hard to leave. Again, anyone else who can relate, leaving abuse, bro. I cried over that man, like the breakup for like 2 days. Never cried about him again. Okay, y'all know this channel. If y'all watch my podcast episodes, it is about healing and rebranding my self-confidence and my mind-body connection, and because of how a soul affected my self-esteem and all that. So it was a lot of that. There's been a lot of pain in those past years recovering from that. But as far as like, oh, I'm sad, I love him, I miss him, what is he doing? I cried for 2 days again. I was in an abusive relationship. Like after 2 days and my nervous system regulated again, I was like, oh, I can like relax. I can breathe. Like I was just like, okay, I was up. Fast forward, and also again with the Scorpio loyalty, how I said I am when I'm in relationships. I'm not one of those people either that once I leave a relationship, I'm like, where the hell's that? Where are they? People people swear that Scorpios are like that. I am not like that, bro. So I literally was just felt like, whoo, I can breathe. Yay, fun in the sense of like I could just relax. Like I could just relax. I was like, yay. I could spend money on myself. I could hang out by myself. I don't have someone bothering me all the time. Like it was fun. So I remember for a couple weeks, it was like, yeah, I was just getting used to being by myself again in all spaces. And also this was before I had like really registered the abuse. A lot of people know when you're in an abusive relationship, sometimes you register a months later because you suppress so much. That was my experience. So I was like, fun, regulated nervous system. Yeah. So I'm working these past 2 weeks. And you know, also again, like I'm single now. So in general, just because I'm so loyal, I feel like other people can relate. Like when I'm in relationships, I'm more closed up. I honestly, I feel like I'm pretty cold to men. In general, single or not, like I still am right now. Like, baby, if I don't want you or I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to talk to you as long as it's safe for me. But also, especially being in an abusive relationship and being with someone you're scared to piss off and stuff, you're very much, you know, like I know how to be cordial and have coworkers, but now that I'm free, it's like I'm not afraid of saying the wrong thing. Like, you know, you're just a little bit more open, even if it's not like in a romantic way. So I remember that's how I was going about it. There was nice guys in my job when I was in a relationship who had told me about their relationships and stuff. Cool. And after, there were still other, you know, people I was working with. So oh my God, I remember literally one time at work, because there was one girl I got pretty close to. She knew I was in a relationship. She followed me on Instagram. She saw the pictures and stuff where, again, in the downtime at work, I mentioned, she said something about like, oh, how are you and your boyfriend? And I was like, oh, I broke up with him. And she was like, what? She was like kind of dramatic. I remember she said it kind of loud, like hella people heard it, including Corbin. Right. She's like, what? Like, text me what happened or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, girl, like, no, I'm fine. We broke up, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, I don't remember how long after I told people. I'm also that people when I'm out of a relationship. Like I said, what do y'all be talking about Scorpios acting like where the hell's that and stuff? Like, I also tell people very late. Like, I remember I could be out of a relationship for like a month or 2 months. And then when I finally see that friend, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not even with them anymore. Like I'm not that person who posts, or like I'm very discreet, mysterious Scorpio. So I had only said that because it came up, duh. Oh, that's another part I forgot to mention. I don't remember if I ever directly mentioned it to this man, but I would definitely mention it to my coworkers. Like, oh yeah, my boyfriend goes to this school, or me and my boyfriend went here. Again, I'm a loyal girl. When I'm in a relationship, my man. So I feel like before Corbin heard that girl be all dramatic when I said, oh, I don't have a boyfriend anymore, I also think he knew that I had a boyfriend. Because like I said, I was very, I don't act single when I'm not single. So why do I feel like after Corbin heard that, there was a switch? So Corbin ends up training / shadowing with me some more. Like I said, he was put in different places, but at one point he was with me almost every day or for like a week straight. And it was interesting. And I feel like in that, I definitely sensed something. Like, y'all just know when it's like, okay, like he definitely seems like more talkative. Or when they were like, you can choose who you want to shadow today, he would be like, oh, I'll shadow with Alicia. You know, and we just like would talk about more stuff like, oh yeah, I went to school here and then I went to college here, and we would just talk about like different stuff. Like I remember one time there was oh my God, I remember telling this to my sister. She was like, where we were talking about something. Like I think we were talking about parents. And he was like, oh yeah, like my mom, she's from Jamaica, she has an accent, blah blah blah. And, like, I just remember him talking about like family history and stuff, and I was like, oh, who do you look like, or do your siblings look alike, or do some blah blah blah. And so I remember, like, again, that's the conversation where sometimes you're just like, oh blah blah, and they're like, oh, maybe one day. So I remember one time later in the shift, or maybe like another day, like I'm doing my work at like a different table. The room is like silent. And I remember everyone peeped this. Like Corbin was sitting somewhere else, not by me. He got up and he pulled a chair to sit like right next to me at the table I was sitting at. And I remember like the chair he pulled made like a screech in the middle of the noise, and everybody started like giggling. Like he was like, but I'm just like, oh hey, like when he came over and he pulls out his phone, he's like, oh yeah, so I meant to show you, like, this is my mom and this is my dad. And I was just like, okay, like you know, when it's just like, because like I said, there were other boys at this job I was cool with. Like we were cool, we talked, we were all like pretty much, I feel like, the same level as cool, except I talked to the women more because I talk to women more. What do I need a male friend for real? It was just weird. Like I would just peep little stuff where it's like, why are you like talking to me most? Why do you need my help with this when you could go ask someone else for it? Why? I just peeped a little something. So I remember incidents like that happened. People saw. I literally seen sometimes people would see us interact and be like, making that face like they could see, right? One day I'm talking to the homegirl, the same homegirl who was like, what? Y'all broke up. That one time where it was loud enough for Corbin to hear. And she was like, finally like, oh, like, how have you been since the breakup and stuff? And I'm like, oh girl, I've been fine. Like, I've been cool, whatever. It was like a space where it was just us at work. And she was like, so what's up with Corbin? I said, girl, what's up? What's up with, I don't know. And she was like, girl, like, you see the way he looks at you? Like, I saw that one day he crashed pushing the car back over here because he was too busy looking at your face. And I was like, I mean, yeah, I peep stuff like that. She's like, girl, I could tell he likes you. Like, it's pretty obvious. And I'm like, does he?
What do you mean by that?
I'm tired of being, I feel like I want to be retired from being Delulu. Like, you gotta scream it. You gotta bark like you want. So I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, no, I literally talked about it with some of the other girls. We're like, what's going on? Like, why is he always chasing you? Like, when he could go get help or be working with someone else, why is he always choosing you? Like, it's so, and I'm like, I guess you're right. She's like, well, what do you think? And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, he's not ugly, whatever. And she was like, girl, like, well, so what's gonna happen? Like, you gonna do something like that? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of awkward. I always feel like work stuff is kind of like a red flag too. Although I do know somebody who has had a work relationship. They both work at different places now and they're still together like years in. Tuh. But I don't know. I've always thought, see, me as a Scorpio, bitch, I'm out of sight, out of mind. I don't like proof of life. When I'm done with you, I don't want to see you. I don't want proof of life. I don't want to hear you. I'm blocking you on everything. So, like, I feel like that could not work if I started dating someone at work and then, oh, bitch, I got to see you every day. No, that's not happening. But she was, like, low-key kind of, like, egging me on. And I was like, okay. So, I feel like I started kind of, like, giving in. I'm like, okay, like, I've been single for a couple weeks. I could a little something. So I basically, like, I did. But yeah, I feel like every girl knows this feeling, like when you could low-key feel like a guy's liking you and you're like resisting, then you're like, all right, let me just try. That's basically how it was. So we started talking more. I started, finding more downtime to talk to him. And y'all, before I knew it, like, again, it's like everyone could see it. Like, everyone could see it. At the end of the days, this man was walking me to my car. Like we would literally walk out. When I used to like walk out with the girls, he would wait for me or walk me out to my car. Y'all, I remember this one time, like we were walking to the cars, and this was like again in front of people again, where people were kind of like, I was like, okay, well, like like we were like, okay, we're bye. I'm gonna catch you. Like he went like he was going to dap me up. You know what I'm saying? And when he went, he just held my hand there. Babe, don't do that. I don't know how to act when men do stuff like that. Like I remember he like held on, and he was like, haha, oh, like he tried, and I was like, okay, so you acted like you were trying to dab me up, then you held my hand, you're walking me to my car, and yeah, we just like got closer. By this time, I knew a lot about him. Okay, you're one of 4 kids, your parents are divorced, you grew up here, you went to state out of school here, and now you're back in California, blah, blah, blah. So it was just weird. It was, y'all know when it's just an unspoken vibe that everybody could feel. Everybody would make faces. Like I said, all the girls were like, what's going on with Alicia and Corbin? Like it's giving. And they were all like here for it. Like, oh, you guys are so cute. Because again, like I'm not weird, bro. Like never too much that is unprofessional, but it was like very, very known in work terms that like we low-key going together real bad. Low-key, 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 low-key. And of course, like I would tell some of my friends out of state, or not out of state, out of the job too, and they'd be like, interesting. And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. But the thing was, it had not crossed a certain point, right? I think I had his number because we had like a work group chat, but like I never had him on Instagram, nothing like that. So anyways, y'all, imagine this guy is flirting and always wanting to work with you and choosing to be around you all the time at work and stuff. Over by now, he's friends with like more people at work. And then, yeah, he's walking you to his car. He's like, oh, let's make a handshake. And then be trying to hold your hand, do all this flirty stuff. And then one fateful day, I remember I heard, and I don't know if anybody else heard this. I heard the word girlfriend come out of his mouth. I don't know if anybody else heard this. Like, I mean, I didn't get it. I just remember one day, y'all, because like, I don't play. I remember I heard girlfriend come out of his mouth talking about someone. And I'm like, y'all, I literally remember when I got off that shift so quick, I texted the homegirl who said she peeped how Corbin was into me and stuff. And I was like, no, it was after the shift. I was like, come to my car, come to my car, come to my car. She's like, what, girl, what? I'm like, why did I hear him say girlfriend? She said, you're lying. I'm like, no, I'm not lying, girl. When I tell you we FBI searched this man, she's like, well, what's his last name? And I'm like, I don't remember. I don't know if I had like seen that. But I remember he told me what school he went to and that he went to that college. He played sports. I said, let's look up the 20 blah, blah, blah roster. We found his last name. Because she's like, well, let's look at his Instagram. Like, let's see. Are you sure you heard girlfriend? I'm like, girl, I think I heard him say girlfriend. And we're looking, boom, private account. Private account, private account, private account. But my friend too is still not convinced. She's like, are you sure, Alicia? Like, if that's for real, why is he acting like that? I'm like, I don't know. After that, like any normal person, I didn't do all that extra stuff. Cause what did I just hear? Like, I really wanted to think like my mom was playing tricks on me. This is why I'm saying men are weird, y'all. Because again, right? So you're walking to me in my car, you're doing all these flirty things. Like, it's like men doing everything flirty except crossing a real line. Well, you're already crossing a real line if you was my man. But I'm like, okay, I don't need to be like all talky with him. If I didn't hear that. If I heard what I just heard. So I did that, and she was like, well, there's only like a week left of this contract, girl. She's like, are you sure you heard it? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I heard him mention a girlfriend. And she's like, well, I guess you'll see. She's like, wait, but I thought you guys were so cute. She's like, maybe you heard wrong. She's like, just see at the end, like maybe bring it up. I'm like, girl, I don't want to bring that up. I don't want to bring that up because I don't want to make it awkward. And you know how when men are weird, sometimes they'll try to turn it around on you. Like, oh, I'm like, girl, I'm not bringing it up. But she's like, well, maybe you'll find out, like, if he makes like a real move before he knows he's not going to see you again, that like this contract is over. And I'm like, okay, but like I said, I'm pulling back. I'm not doing all that extra stuff just in case. That's what I heard. And so by the last day at this job, the end of this contract, again, like him still low-key trying it, me going back to secluded, but still cordial. And yeah, guys, by the end of that contract, he didn't do anything. Like my friend was like, I swore he didn't ask for your number, no, nothing. I'm like, no, girl. Isn't that weird, guys? Isn't that weird? See, I always hear like work wife, work husband story times on like a bigger scale when people are like married and they have kids and stuff. But I was like, that boy is so weird. If I heard what I heard, which like I said, I feel like, you know, because this is why, this is why I gotta really put a trust in a man when I start dating again, because like he basically did every little flirty thing, getting close, getting like too friendly with at work, except like actually following over to like a full on like asking for something and speaking outside of work. Cause to me, I'm not a person that's like, oh, only physical stuff is cheating. Like if you're being weird, if you're being flirty and stuff, that's still being cheaty. So I was gagged, but I feel like the point that at the end of the job, he didn't ask for anything, just showed you were being sneaky. You were being sneaky. Like I said, you did everything but, yeah. Isn't that weird, y'all? I was disgusted to think that that is somebody's man. That's the closest thing I've ever seen to a story like that. I never want to be in that predicament again. Because I don't play. I definitely don't ever want to be on the other end. That's why that's why I moves accordingly. Okay. But yeah, guys, ain't that some shit? Have you guys ever been in a similar position? Have you guys ever been on the opposite end or had like a guy be weird like that? And it's like, oh, you literally have a wife. You literally have a girlfriend. Why are you acting like that? It's really weird, like I said, because when I'm in a relationship, everybody knows. A man like, oh, what's your plans for the weekend? Hanging out with my boyfriend. Oh, I know about that place because I went there with my boyfriend. Yeah. It's crazy to me how some people don't operate like that. How like, I'll know, well, I guess some people are more private. I don't know. If you guys been following me for years, you know I scream my man to the depths of the ocean. So, But yeah, guys, that was the story time. Thanks for listening to me yap again about the BS. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Check out any of my other videos because I have a ton. I've been here for 2 years. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.